Well, thank you, all of you, for joining us for this 2023 goal setting event with Julie Palumbo. I feel a huge responsibility to all of you to give you the best possible results. And as part of that, I know how important it is for me to not only stay healthy, but also to have a clear mind and the energy to make good decisions every single day. I started working with Julie as my full-time health coach about 6 months ago, and we have had extraordinary results together. I have never felt better in my life and lost 8 pounds of fat while gaining 8 pounds of muscle. Julie has helped me to set long-term health goals and then work all the way back to daily goals to make sure I accomplish everything that I wanted. Brooke and the whole team at Presilium feel the same way. We meet almost every morning at 6 a.m. at the gym to start our day and have had our most successful professional year ever last year while delivering exceptional results for all of you. We wanted to continue this in 2023. And as part of that, we wanted to give you access to the same program that we had used last year. Julie is a certified nutrition coach, runs a very successful business in addition to being a mother of two, is a Presilium client, and is one of my very good friends and favorite people. So Julie, I'm really looking forward to going through this with you and sharing it with all of our friends on this Zoom. We are also recording this, so there will be a replay available for all of you or anyone else that would like to see the content after this. So Julie, welcome and good morning.
Thanks, Jared. Good morning. Hey, everyone. I am Julie Palumbo. As Jerry said, I am a certified nutrition consultant and health coach. And I have been working with him now for about 6 months. And my goal when working with individuals is to not only allow them to reach their goals and see what they've been working towards come to be, but also to focus on the big picture and the long-term goals. For you, those of you who don't know me or don't know my background, I worked with Jerry for 10 years as a financial advisor, and I saw so many clients as I was going through, being an advisor, and I also have Crohn's disease. I was always open about that. I had clients share with me about their own health journeys and their own health struggles. And it really dawned on me that, we're planning so much for everyone's financial future. What good is all of that if you're not well enough to enjoy it? And retirement is no longer just sitting on your front porch and watching the neighbors' kids go by. It's traveling and seeing grandkids and doing things you never had a chance to do because you were working. So I realized, it's about being wealthy, and that's WELLTHY. So you want to be wealthy. You don't want to just focus on one because without your mental or physical health, it's really hard to enjoy the other components of life. Even if you're not of retirement age, you also have a family, you have a career, and life is hard enough. And it's a lot harder when you're not operating at your best. We all have our strong days and weak days, and that's okay. But at the same time, once you realize how important your own health is, and you start putting that at the forefront of your mind and your priorities, the rest will all fall into place and you will see success in other areas. And Jerry mentioned, they've had success at Presilium and undertook a big change starting their own company. And if Jerry and Brooke were operating at half the capacity that they're at right now because their mental and physical health wasn't at their best, who knows where any of this would be, where any of us would be right now. So it's not selfish to take care of your self-health. It's actually really critical, not only for you, but for those who rely on you as well. So today we're going to talk about achieving your health goals, but this also could apply to any goal that you want to achieve. It could be something professional or having to do with your own savings goals or anything that you put your mind to. The same principles apply. This obviously is more health focused, but you could still use these techniques in any component so that you're not only reaching short-term goals. Anyone could do anything for a month or 6 weeks, whatever it is, maybe it's something short term. It's about the long term and big picture here that we're hoping that you're able to achieve and continue going through 2023 and beyond. So with that, we'll get started on our presentation. If you have any questions, you could type them. I can't see the chat or anything from here, so Jerry is just going to relay them to me. I will open it up to questions at the end, but if at any point in time you have a question or comment about what I'm speaking about, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to make this more interactive as we go. So we're going to go through why goals fail. We all set goals every year. Chances are 80, to be specific, 86% of goals that people set are abandoned by mid-February. So that means they only last 6 weeks of the year. So let's find out why that's a thing. We're going to talk about how to set goals that you can achieve and maintain. Goals are not always looked at as a finish line. It's an ongoing journey, and we want to embrace that. Then we're going to talk about steps to take immediately to start achieving this year's health goals. So what you can do as soon as this webinar is over to start feeling and looking your best. So first off, why don't we reach our goals? Chances are they're too drastic. So these are things like, I am giving up all desserts, no more desserts going forward, or all alcohol. A lot of people do dry January, which is great. It serves its purpose for 1 month, but what happens beyond that? Chances are you could only go dry January for 1 month. It is harder to go beyond. If you're someone like me who is also pregnant, then you are doing dry 9 months. And even after that, you're going to go back to drinking probably. So having such a drastic comment about no dessert, no drinking, working out 7 days a week, these are things that maybe short term are possible, but long term is just not going to happen. Your goals may be too general. And these sticky notes here are actually really perfect examples, like join the gym. Okay, well, anyone could join a gym. You could sign up and then just never show up. You could lose weight. Well, how much is that? Get fit. Well, is it from a stamina standpoint? Is it how much weight you could lift? Is it how fast you could run? What does that really mean? Another problem with goals is that they're not framed in a positive manner. And we are going to go through all of these in greater detail, but this is really stemming a lot from the mental component of your health. So we can maybe do things physically, but if mentally we're not there and we're not in alignment, it's going to be really difficult to follow through. So by framing our goals in a positive manner or coming from a state of abundance, you're more likely to achieve them and want to keep going. And lastly, they're not specific to you. So it might be specific, but not to necessarily your lifestyle, your agenda, your specific needs. So all of that has to be taken into consideration when setting your goals and making sure that you're set up for success. So let's explore a little deeper. They are too drastic. So these are my favorite. You see them this time of year, especially if you go to a gym regularly. The first 3 weeks after the first of the year, you cannot get on a machine. Everyone is at the gym. They're like, yeah, I'm doing this. And then by February, you could get back in comfortably. If you sign up for classes, there's no wait list. It happens every year. There's the after New Year's rush, and then it falls off. Then another issue that people say is about waking up earlier. Maybe they say, I'm going to get up 2 hours earlier. That is very difficult. The body will not respond well to that. You might want to start thinking of it as 15 minutes earlier to start, and 15 minutes might not seem a lot, but that's okay. 15 minutes is long enough for you to pack lunches for the day and still have time to get ready at a normal manner. 15 minutes is enough for you to get a good 10-minute stretch in, and like, I guess, get up, get ready, and get a 10-minute stretch in. 15 minutes is good for mental health. You can meditate and journal. So instead of jumping to 2 hours earlier, start with 15 minutes, then maybe add another 15 and keep going. If your goal is to get up earlier because you want to work out in the morning, again, back to you could do a 10-minute stretch, and then the more time you have, eventually build up to a full workout. Maybe you want to get up earlier because you just want to feel less rushed to get out the door. So 15 minutes, that's really a big difference in the morning of, getting everything lined up to get out the door, making sure you don't forget anything. So you don't have to be that drastic. It just could be a few minutes at a time and keep building up from there. Giving up all sugar, as I said, I have to give up all desserts. I have clients who have that mentality when they start working with me, only to realize that they have to incorporate some kind of dessert, some kind of leeway, because that's their lifestyle. And it's really impractical to say that you're never going to have dessert. You're inevitably going to be at a party or an event or on vacation where the dessert is there. The key here is to do it responsibly. Enjoy it, make it count, don't waste it on the non-high quality stuff, make it count. And make sure then you just get right back into your regular habit. You have to make sure that you're leaving room for indulgences, or else it's just not going to be a sustainable situation. Being too drastic or too restrictive causes your body and mind to go into freak out mode. So this is an actual thing, and revert back to old habits immediately. So our brains are so deeply rooted in habit. And the reason behind that is because we need habit to survive. If we had to critically think through every single event that we did throughout the day, our brains wouldn't have the capacity to think about critical matters. So we have to go on autopilot about getting up, making the bed, brushing your teeth. How many times do you do things and like you don't even realize you did them because it's just so habitual? That's great. The good thing about it too is that you could incorporate healthy habits that become really difficult to break. The bad thing is you may have bad habits that are very difficult to break. So by just completely eliminating, like if every single night you've had a glass of wine after dinner for the past 2 years and you suddenly just completely cut it out, your brain will think, it will go into all out panic mode and say, what are you doing to me? I need this wine. I can't function without it. So it's all about these gradual changes and building upon them so that eventually maybe it's down to one glass of wine a week after dinner. And then if you skip a week, you won't even notice, but you cannot go 0 to 100 overnight. Your body just cannot cope. Problem number 2 with goals, they're just too general. So just saying, I want to lose weight, I want to have more energy. What does that even mean? If you have no metric for it, then you really don't know if you're on track or not. You can't tell your progress from week to week. Going into, professional goals just to say, like, I want to make more money. What does that even mean? Make sure that you're getting as specific as possible so that you could be measurable with your goals. And we'll go through this a little bit more, as you can see down at the bottom, just so that you're able to really calibrate and see if you're on track, what needs to be done to make sure you're on track to reaching your goals, or if any changes need to be made that really aren't working at the time. So I like to look at it as you probably heard of this, SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable. So these aren't like, I want to lose 100 pounds in 2 weeks. That's just not going to happen. Relevant, it has to be going on within this time frame, something that is important to you for a specific matter, and timely. So you have an exact time frame. They opened up, if you're in the Philly area, they opened up registration for Broad Street today for the Broad Street Run. Maybe you want to be able to run 10 miles by the end of April. Perfect, specific. You want to run 10 miles when? by the end of April. So you have about 3 months to do it. It's definitely attainable. It's relevant because it's on the horizon. And obviously, it's measurable. How many miles? 10. You could figure out how many miles you're going to have to work up to over the next 3 months. Another big component, though, of SMART goals is the sustainability component of it. I really do feel like it should be SMART's goals. Being sustainable is the key here in any long-term success. If you are using the dry January example, if you were to give up alcohol for all of January, that's great. And that's a SMART goal. You know exactly what you're doing for how long. It's not a large amount of time. It's attainable. It's fine. But is it sustainable? And the chances are is that it's not. But maybe the outcome isn't just that you're giving up for January, which I'm sure 99% of people could do. It's what comes after that. And if you notice how well you feel when you're not drinking alcohol, coming into February, the change that you make or the goal that you seek isn't necessarily absolutely zero alcohol, but it's something that's on the border of or that balances out that you still feel well, but yet you're able to enjoy an occasional social drink. So the idea behind anything drastic like that, or any drastic diet, is to see how you could then make it sustainable going forward so you could continue living your life and implementing these new habits. Problem number 3 is that they are not framed in a positive manner. So, as I was saying before, how the mental component of becoming physically well is so overwhelming. So, we always tend to frame things in the negative or in a giving up perspective. So, using terms like I will not eat dessert after dinner, or I am giving up alcohol, I am giving up sweets. That leaves you with a feeling of deprivation and resentment. So it discourages you from following through on your goals because it just doesn't sound appealing. But if you flip it and you use positive reinforcements for your healthy choices, um, you'll be able to see the gifts that you're giving yourself through healthy choices. So instead of saying, I'm giving up desserts after dinner, say, I am enjoying fresh fruit after dinner. I am enjoying more workouts at the gym. I am enjoying more sparkling water over wine when I'm out. So coming from a place of abundance really sets you up into a more positive mindset. It doesn't make you feel like you're deprived. It makes you feel like you're getting a positive reinforcement, like I'm nourishing my body in ways that, by giving myself fresh fruit and vegetables that a dessert typically wouldn't. Just in the on the flip side, if you were to say, typically you're like, oh, I'm just going to treat myself. I'm going to have a little piece of cake. You could also reframe that and say, I am fueling my body with processed sugar and fat and probably going to experience a sugar crash later. That's not how we frame dessert. We frame dessert as a treat, as an indulgence. So if you can make dessert sound really good, you could do the same about fruits and vegetables. It's the mentality of it. You're treating yourself with a workout. You're treating yourself with a brief meditation session, as opposed to, I will not stress out during the day. You're putting the emphasis on the negative. You're really coming from a place of like trying to rid things from your mind and body, even if it is something that's negative like stress. You just want to come from a place of abundance and think more meditation, more fruits and vegetables. Think more. Lastly, problem number 4 is that they are not specific to you. So you're setting goals based on external factors will allow too much room for failure. So focus on what you can control, such as the amount of days you work out, how many fruits and vegetables you get with every meal, what time you wake up and go to bed early. All of these things are in your control. Even during COVID, when the gyms were closed, you could have worked out at home. There was a way to do it. Even when the grocery stores were like madhouses and it was impossible to get ingredients, you could still somehow get a piece of fruit to incorporate in your diet. You are always in control over what you eat. No one can make you eat something. No one can make you not eat something. As someone who has dietary restrictions, I'm gluten free. I'm always well prepared with my own snacks, no matter where I go, because I never know if I could eat something in a public setting. So, worst case scenario, I have a little snack before I go. I don't eat during the event, and then I eat afterwards. You could do that too. You're always in control over what you eat. No one's going to force you to eat something. And I get that a lot. I always get, well, I ate a cheesesteak. Why? They're trying to lose weight. Why do you eat the cheesesteak? Well, that's all they had. Okay, that's great, but you didn't have to eat at that moment. There are ways around it. You could have had a snack before, just didn't eat for the couple hours you were at the event, and then had something to eat afterwards. You are always in control over what you eat. When creating business goals, so this goes beyond the health goals here, don't focus on the outcome, focus on the process. And I feel like so much of that is Jerry's voice in my head saying that from my early years when I graduated college. So you could control how many calls you make. You could control how many meetings that you set. You could control all of the territories that you're in, but you can't control necessarily how many prospects or how many components or whatever it is turn into actual sales or clients. You cannot always determine the outcome. You could open up, if you're in the hiring component of your job, you could have so many individuals come in for interviews. You could interview as many people as you want, but that's all you can control. And you could pick the candidate you think is best for you. You can't control if they lied on their resume or if maybe they don't pan out the way that you had hoped, but all you could do is focus on what you can control. So, as far as, whether it be weight loss, working out, your job, you have to look internally to yourself and think, what can I control? What what is going to be the most important thing that I get a grip on that I could start implementing now? And what are things that are just so beyond my control that I have to let it go? I can't stress about it. It might upset me, but I have to just, after stewing about it for 5 minutes, let it go so that improves your mental health. And just really forget about things that are beyond your control and focus on the goals that are specific to you. So now we're going to talk about how to set goals that you could achieve and maintain. So we already discovered or discussed why setting goals doesn't always work, but this is how you're going to set goals that you could actually achieve and maintain. You're going to make your goals specific and manageable. So we talked about, if it's too broad, too general, I want to have more energy. Let's say I want to have enough energy to work out 4 times a week after work, or I want to have enough energy to play with my kids after work and put them to bed. Having that specific reason, not only the specific goal in itself, but the specific reason why also is really going to help you stick with your goals so that when you feel a little deterred from doing it, you will think, no, I'm sticking to this because I want to have enough energy to work out 4 times a week after work. And by doing that, I'm going to improve my mental and physical health. And by doing that, I'm going to feel more confident at my job. And by doing that, I'm going to get the promotion that I want. So there are all these layers that come with it. And that's why you have to be so specific with your goals so that you're able to break it down into bite-sized pieces and see the big picture as you keep going. So avoid drastic change that's not sustainable. We talked about that. So like the 3 days a week at 6 a.m., great. That's doable. It's not every day. If you're used to waking up at 7, you only have to wake up an hour earlier 3 days a week. Eat a serving of fruit with breakfast daily. That's great. You're going to have eggs anyway. Throw in a banana, throw in a clementine. Just have one serving of fruit with breakfast. Start there. Drink alcohol just on weekends. You can still enjoy your Fridays and Saturdays. You just don't have to pop open the bottle on a Tuesday. It makes it easier to start working towards these goals being a little more practical. State your goals in a positive way. So we just talked at length about this. So say, I'm going to start rather than I'm going to stop. I'm going to start meditating, not I'm going to stop freaking out at my job at 3 p.m. I'm going to start eating more fruit with breakfast rather than I'm going to stop eating a bagel every day. Mindset. It's all about the mindset that really makes the difference here. Look at what you can do and not what you should avoid. So I can eat all the fruit I want after dinner as opposed to, oh, I can't have the chocolate, because we all want what we can't have. So the second you think I can't have this is when you want it the most. So if you keep thinking, I can't have chocolate, I can't have chocolate, I can't have chocolate, your body's hearing the word chocolate over and over again, it's going to make you want it more. Just ignore it and think about all that you can't eat. Come from a place of abundance. And we talked about that a few slides ago. Again, focus on what you can control. So focus on the action, not the end result. This is so true too for weight loss. I have so many clients who they will drop weight immediately, and then they'll have a week where they plateau, but they're still doing all the same healthy things that they've been doing. And that's what's important. It's okay, your body retains water for several reasons, or maybe it's just that you did an extensive workout that your body's still a little swollen from that. Whatever it is, that's fine. You can't control the number on the scale. But if you're still implementing these healthy habits, the weight will come off. You will still continue to feel well. So it wasn't all lost because you stayed the same one week. That you can't control. You just can control what you're doing to add to reaching your goals. So instead of saying, I will lose 20 pounds, say, I will add more fruits and veggies to my diet and replace sweetened beverages with water. Naturally, that will show an impact. I've never heard of anyone say, I'm adding more fruits and veggies and not see a difference. It's really amazing how you start to focus on the little things like the number on the scale and like really honing in, like, why am I not down a pound? There are so many other factors in there that you really have to look at the process as opposed to the final number. Take small, consistent steps to achieve long-lasting habit changes. So this is really where the the majority of my work comes from these habit changes. So it's not a quick fix overnight. It's not something that I just say, okay, here you go. Here's a paper of what to do and what not to do. It's the habit changes that also work for you. So consistency is so key when making a habit change. You have to continue doing things over and over to make it a habit. A habit takes at least 3 weeks to start. So the good thing is, if it's something good, you can form a habit in 3 weeks. And it could be something as simple as taking the steps up to your office instead of the elevator. So by building upon these small habit changes, you'll be able to see these long-lasting lifestyle changes and positive results. So you're just building upon one change after the other. So I would have my clients do, okay, 2 workouts this week. That's comfortable. Next week, we're going to make it 3. You're going to work out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because that's what your schedule allows. The best time of day for you to work out is during your lunch hour. Perfect. At a certain point, it is so habitual to work out on a Monday at noon that if my client's not working out on a Monday at noon, it feels strange. And that's when you know it's a true habit. But I wouldn't say overnight, okay, this week you have to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon for an hour. Like, that's, again, too drastic. it's one thing at a time. Maybe it's you go for a walk for 15 minutes at noon on Monday. Then you do that. And on Wednesday, it's a quick weightlifting session. So you're taking these small, consistent steps and they lead to long lasting habit changes. Because when you change your habits, you change your life. And that is immensely true because our life is made up of habits. And if you look at everything you do, everything you buy, where you travel, what you wear, chances are it's habit. Actually, 80% of everything we do is out of habit and 20% is knowledge. So that's why just because you know you should be doing something and we should be eating a certain way and exercising, we don't do it because knowledge is only 20%. If it's in your habit to wake up every day and eat a muffin and a coffee with heavy cream in it, you probably think to yourself, oh, I probably should be having a smoothie or something lighter. But if that's your habit, that's going to be really tough to break. But once you change that habit, you change your life. And it's all about habit. You buy a certain brand of washing detergent out of habit. You order a drink at the bar that is your go-to out of habit. Think about it as you're going through all of your daily tasks or just activities in general. It's habit. So when you finally realize the habits that need to change a little bit to be better, you change your life. Let's start talking about how to take steps immediately to start achieving your goals because you all came here for answers. And I probably said a lot of things that are resonating with you and you're thinking, yes, I agree. I see this in myself. But what do you do about it? The first thing that I have anybody do when they want to make a change in their lifestyle is to identify a physical anchor. So this is going to be your reminder. Remember I talked about the why, like I want to have enough energy to work out 4 times a week so that then I feel better and I start feeling more confident at my job and then I get the promotion and like all like these whys. Or you want to lose weight so you could go out and run around in the yard with your children. All of these whys are going to be the answer to when you say, but what happens if I'm tempted to eat dessert 3 or 4 times a week? You're going to have this reminder. It could be a photo that's on your wallpaper. It could be a favorite saying on a coffee mug. It could be an outfit that doesn't fit right now because it's too small and you have it front and center that you see it every day and you're like, this is why I am choosing to work out this morning, even though I just really want to crawl back in bed. Maybe the photo on your wallpaper is a motto. Maybe it's a picture of your kids or your grandchildren. Maybe it's the beach house that you someday want to own. Jerry and Brooke, you guys could start practicing this with your clients if it's a financial goal. Maybe it's the saying on a coffee mug. Maybe your goal this year is to retire and you are going to buy a mug that says, I'm retired. And every day you see that to know that that's what you're working towards. I want you to have a physical reminder every day to know that this is why you are making these choices and avoiding others. Then you're going to clear the clutter. You are going to get rid of any emotional or physical clutter that is in your life because you can't bring in new if you still have the old. Just, it's physically impossible. So anything about self-sabotage, thinking I can't do this or I don't deserve this. I actually have had a number of clients who have said, I don't want to lose weight because then others will think I'm being vain. Well, that's probably not true, and that's also just negative self-talk because you want to lose weight to feel better and to get your cholesterol numbers down. Having that negative self-talk is really not going to help the situation. Having negative friends is not going to be the situation. If you do have friends who start making negative comments towards you because you're losing weight or looking better or you get a job promotion, then they're really not friends you want in your circle. Clear your physical clutter. So this is like your pantry. Did you ever just go through and throw out like things that were open months ago or that had expiration dates from last year? Your closet. Cleaning out a closet is one of those things that mentally it takes a lot to do, but once you start, you can't stop and it feels so good when you're done. And then you could donate all these clothes that you're not going to wear that someone else could use. Cleaning out your wallet, this is a big one. How many times do you just leave receipts, unused or like expired gift cards that have like 15 cents left on them? That's extra weight you're carrying around. That's clutter. Clean it out. You want a clean slate, only the essential cards, whatever cash you keep in your wallet, that's it. Your email inbox. Oh my gosh, how many of you have like thousands of emails just sitting there? Unsubscribe. I the other day I like this is my favorite multitasking activity. I was waiting in the doctor's office and I just started going through my emails and unsubscribing. And that is like the perfect opportunity to do that because it is a pain to unsubscribe, but I'm waiting in the doctor's office anyway, so I might as well make it productive. And it just felt really good. So clean out. You want to clear the clutter to make room for the new you. Write down your goals. This takes the abstract and makes it more concrete. So taking something that is conceived in your mind and putting it on paper is really powerful. You could actually see it. When it's achieved, you could cross it off. A few years ago, I was look we were looking for a house. We were in the city. We were looking for a house. We wanted to have another baby. It was before we had my son. Um, we had to sell our condo in the city that nobody wanted to live in the city in late 2020, early 2021. So I had all these things in my mind and I wrote down a list of what I wanted to achieve in 2021. This was January. And I put have a baby, sell the condo, buy a house. And in March we sold the condo. In April I was pregnant. In September, we closed on our new house, and then I had my son in December. So all of that happened in 2021, and putting the dates next to it of when it happened is really cool to go back to because now I know, like the next time I want big, I mean, those are pretty big life events. I mean, you can make it small, like like run 5 miles, but they were big events. And now it's really fun when I have goals on the horizon. I always revisit that and think, hey, you wrote this out, and I wrote the date of when I made this list, and I saw all of it come to be and the dates that it happened. So it's just a nice reminder, like putting it down on paper is really powerful, and it allows you to visualize the outcome. If you want to buy a shore house this year, visualize it. Where do you want to be? What does that look like for you and your family? Do you want to fit in that outfit that you put front and center of your closet? How do you look? What are you going to look like? How is your hair going to look? Think it through. Set up your system, support, and accountability. So these are the 3 pillars to success. The system is how you will reach your goals. So this is the joining a gym, buying new kitchen gadgets to cook healthier, like buying your Vitamix. Maybe you're going to reach your goals by buying a planner and planning ahead. So the system is the how component. The support is the who. So who will help you reach your goals? Are you going to do this in a group setting? Are you going to tell your colleagues about it? Maybe your spouse, maybe your kids. Basically, you want others to know about what you plan on doing so that they could also support you in your efforts. And they are not the type that are going to deter you from your efforts. So it's not the friend who's saying, oh, come on, one mimosa at brunch isn't going to kill you. It's one saying, oh, wow, that's awesome that you're doing this. You know what? I'm going to skip out on the mimosa today, too. And lastly, the accountability. This is the biggest impact for any adult because we're adults and we can do what we want. We could eat cookies for breakfast if we want. We don't have anyone to tell us we can't. So you need someone to keep you in line, essentially, is what I'm trying to say here. And it's how you will ensure that you will reach your goals. So this doesn't even necessarily have to be a person. Like when I coach individuals, obviously I am their accountability factor. They talk to me once a week to check in and report. But accountability could be social media. If you say, I am doing a 30-day yoga challenge, and you start posting on your Instagram story every day up until day 7, and then you fall off for the next 3 days, people are going to notice. I have a Peloton that I love, and I use it as kind of my own accountability because people could see the workouts that I do and how many workouts I do a week. I am currently on a 4 workout per week plan with Peloton, any workout from them, not just the bike, now until I'm 33 weeks pregnant. So I am telling this to everyone, and they could check my Peloton workout schedule and see if I have done it or not. So accountability could be a person, it could be a group, or it could be social media. It's whatever ensures that you are going to reach your goals. And everyone has their own way of making them being held accountable. Maybe it's sending a screenshot to a friend that you completed the workout you said you were going to. My friends and I and my sister were all on Peloton, and we'll do a ride and share it with each other and say, hey, this is the ride I did today. Why don't you do it too? And then my friend does this to me. She likes the longer rides too. She'll like, hey, this is what I did. You do it. It's like, tag, you're it. And I'm like, okay, I'm on it. I have to complete it. She did it. I have to. And then I'll do a ride and I'll send it to my sister. Like, hey, I just did this. Why don't you do it too? So it really helps to hold you accountable and make you do what you said you're going to do. So here's how you could stay in touch with me. And Jerry is going to talk a little bit more too, how you could stay in touch with me going forward. So this is my email, my Instagram. It's my TikTok too, but I haven't posted on TikTok in a while, but I do post recipes occasionally on there, and my website, bestwholeself.com.
Using Zoom, I would know not to do that. Well, thank you, Julie. I thought that was excellent. I agree with everything you said and think that there's actually a lot of powerful messages in there and a lot of ways that we can all change. And a couple things that really resonated with me, and then I had questions for you on. I do think it's really powerful to set goals, to write them down, to constantly review them, because it's amazing how many of the things come true when you really set an attention on them. So, Julie, how many goals do you think we're capable of working on at any one time?
It depends on what they are, but I would say I would start with 3. So, and that could be big or small. So they could all be related. They could be completely unrelated, but I would say at least have 3, because chances are they are related. And for instance, let's say you want to do dry January, you want to go on a European vacation this year, and you want to have energy so that you're able to do like the busy school year, kids practices, like all of that. So doing dry January is going to be the kickoff. So that's going to be for you to start feeling better physically, emotionally. Then that's going to lead to the more energy, and then you're going to be able to be successful in seeing your kids do their sports and excel at your job. Because of that, you're going to be able to take this vacation because you're doing well at work, you're not falling behind, and you feel well enough to do this trip. So in a way, they seem very unrelated, but they really are. I wouldn't do more than 3 at a time, because then it just gets too overwhelming, and if you have any setback, that's just going to cause some resistance to keep going.
Yep, absolutely. And I also agree with everything you said on having multiple accountability partners. I think that makes it so much easier to stay focused on your goals and to ultimately reach them.
Mhm.
I know you're certainly my accountability partner. I post every workout that I do to a place that only you have access to.
Mhm.
And I don't want to talk to you each week if I did not do what I said I was going to do. I find it very embarrassing. So it's a huge motivation to set a goal, have an accountability partner that's checking in on you, and then going back a week later or 2 weeks later and reviewing it and see how it went. So I know as part of this, Julie, you were going to have something similar for our clients where they could
Mhm.
check in with you on a regular basis. And we will make that information available to everyone on this Zoom so that if
Mhm.
they wanted to use you as an accountability partner and be able to make little changes along the way, that that's something they could do with you as well.
Exactly, yes, and I believe you'll be sending out my calendar to everyone so that they could schedule you guys could schedule time to meet with me, and Jerry is so kind to provide that to you guys because it's all about we're being wealthy this year, double meaning, and it's really important to start now, and I know we're on the first day of February, so whatever you did the first month, chances are you're still in it, you're still on it, so we're going to continue that. Now is another reason for now being a great time to really get started is that there's really not much going on, and it's before the summer. It's before we have a lot of social engagements. A lot of people like to lose weight for the summer. We're wearing less clothing, we're going on vacation, we have weddings, like all of that going on, which is wonderful. But it's never too soon to start and it's never too late to start. So it's all about just starting, like taking that first step and making the first change, whether it be your decision for lunch today or the workout you do after work. So it's really all about starting and having that accountability is really powerful because as Jerry said, it's it's a little intimidating. I always have my clients blame me. They'll be like, "Oh, I was gonna have this, but I thought of you." And then like eventually it stops being that I'm the reason for their decision and they do it on their own. But whatever the reason is, it really resonates with them. And as long as it means they're reaching their goals, that's totally fine.
And I'm really glad that we're doing this today, Julie, because I like those calendar benchmarks. I like January 1st because the calendar turns over. You can set brand new goals. Whatever happened last year happened then. And
Mhm.
February 1st can be the same way. Many of you may have already set goals for the year in January that you're either still working on or would like to get back to. But February 1st can be the day that you get started to have an amazing next 11 months in 2023.
Yeah, and Jerry, you make a good point about, it's not about what you did in the past. You could always undo that. We've all, maybe not taken our health as seriously as we should have. When I was first diagnosed with Crohn's, I didn't even act like I had it. Like I just was like, oh, I'm in my 20s, I'm fine, I'm like everyone else, and it only hurt me, and it wasn't until I started investing in my health that I really saw the positive outcomes, so it's never too late to start. You can't say, "Oh, well, I'm already, this far into it," or "My blood pressure is already this high." Whatever it is, you could always make up for it. It may be a little more difficult at first, but it's never too late to start making those changes and seeing a difference. I always tell people a month is going to pass anyway. You're either going to be healthier at the end of it or you're not. So it's really all about just taking that first step, and it really makes a difference, regardless of how big or small it may be.
Absolutely.
Jerry, I had a
And
question here. The SMART S acronym. Yes, so that is for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely, and S is sustainable. So that's something you want to make sure that you can continue doing. I added the S. I mean, if you look it up, it's going to say smart, but I like saying smarts because I think that you could do anything for a short amount of time. It's the sustainability that really counts. So when I work with my clients, and Jerry, you could speak more to this, I make sure that I take into account what your lifestyle is like. So if you go out to dinner every single weekend, like every Friday or Saturday, that's fine. I'm not going to make you change that. It's about how we could take steps in other ways so that you could still enjoy that dinner, maybe pick healthier options, but still enjoy it and it doesn't derail you from your goals. Maybe your job requires you to travel a lot, so we just work around that. I'm not going to say, oh, you can't travel. It's just, okay, when you're going here, here are some great ways to prepare and make sure that you're staying on track. So it's all about meeting you where you are, because what works for you doesn't necessarily work for someone else. And it's important that, we talked about making the goals specific to you. That also means your lifestyle and what works for you and your specific needs.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. That all makes sense. And I think I'm really happy that this particular group is getting together. We all can have a great year together and be everyone's accountability partner. So thank you so much for doing this, Julie. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you all have a great day and an especially great 2023.
Thank you. Everyone enjoy. Be well.
Bye, everyone.